The deadline I thought I'd never meet. The clock on my desk ticked mercilessly as I stared at the blank document on my screen, my eyes burning from exhaustion and my hands shaking from too much coffee. It was a rainy Sunday night in April 2025, and I was 30 years old, a content manager at a fast growing e commerce startup in Seattle. The office was a modern, open plan space with sleek desks, colorful murals on the walls, and a view of the city lights through floor to ceiling windows. Usually a source of inspiration, but tonight it felt like a taunting reminder of my failure. I'd been tasked with delivering a 50-page marketing strategy report by 9 a.m. the next morning, a deadline that loomed like a guillotine over my head. My boss, James, had dropped the assignment on me Friday afternoon with a casual, "We need this yesterday," leaving me with less than 48 hours to pull it together. I was drowning, and I knew it. I joined the startup a year ago, lured by the promise of creative freedom and rapid growth. The team was small but energetic, 6 of us managing everything from social media to email campaigns, and I'd thrived at first, crafting content that boosted our conversion rates by 18% in my first 6 months. My apartment, a cozy studio with a view of Puget Sound, had become my sanctuary, where I'd sip tea on my balcony and plan my next big idea. But lately, the workload had ballooned. New clients, tight schedules, and James's relentless demands had turned my dream job into a nightmare. This report, a comprehensive overhaul of our marketing approach for a major retailer, was the tipping point. I'd underestimated the scope, assuming I could handle it with my usual late-night hustle. Now, with 12 hours to go and only 10 pages written, panic set in. The weekend had been a blur. I'd canceled plans with friends, ignored calls from my sister, and barely slept, surviving on instant noodles and caffeine. My desk was a chaos of coffee cups, crumpled notes, and a laptop that kept overheating. I'd started the report Friday night outlining key sections: market analysis, competitor insights, campaign proposals, but the details were elusive. Every time I typed a sentence, I second guessed it, deleting more than I kept. By Saturday afternoon, I'd hit a wall, my brain foggy from lack of rest. I called James, hoping for an extension. "No way," he snapped over the phone. "The client's expecting this tomorrow. Figure it out." His tone was cold, and I hung up, my hands trembling with frustration. I was alone in this, and the deadline felt impossible. Sunday night deepened my despair. The rain pounded against the windows, a rhythmic drumming that matched the pounding in my head. I tried to focus, forcing myself to write, but the words came in fragments. Half-baked ideas, disjointed stats. At midnight, I had 15 pages, far short of the target. I stood up, pacing the office, my sneakers squeaking on the hardwood floor, the murals blurring into a kaleidoscope of color. My phone buzzed with a text from James. "Status update?" I typed a week working on it, my fingers fumbling. I sat back down, tears stinging my eyes as I realized I might not make it. If I failed, I risked losing my job. James had a reputation for firing underperformers, and my career would stall just as it was gaining momentum. Desperation kicked in. I called my teammate Priya, a graphic designer who'd become a friend. "I'm sinking," I admitted, my voice cracking. "I need help." Priya, ever the optimist, didn't hesitate. "I'll come in," she said. "We'll figure this out together." She arrived at 1 a.m., her hair tied back, a laptop under her arm, and a thermos of tea in hand. We divided the work. She tackled the visual assets and layout while I focused on the text, my fingers flying over the keys as she fed me ideas. The office felt less lonely with her there, the rain a backdrop to our frantic collaboration. By 4 a.m., we had 30 pages, the structure taking shape. Exhaustion weighed on me, but Priya's encouragement kept me going. "You've got this," she said, her smile a lifeline. As dawn broke, the rain eased and a pale light filtered through the windows. We pushed through, Priya designing charts while I polished the prose. At 7 a.m., with 2 hours to spare, we hit 50 pages, rough but complete. I sent it to James with a note. Delivered as requested, reviewed with Priya's support. I collapsed into my chair, my body aching, my mind numb. Priya hugged me, her laughter breaking the tension. We did it, she said. I managed a weak smile, too tired to celebrate. I went home, slept for 4 hours, and returned to the office at noon, bracing for James's reaction. He called me into his office, a glass-walled space with a view of the Space Needle. I stepped in, my legs shaky, expecting a reprimand. James sat at his desk, the report open on his screen. "This is solid," he said, his tone grudging but impressed. "The visuals are a standout, and the analysis is thorough. Good work, both of you." I blinked, relief flooding through me. He added, "Next time, don't wait until the last minute. But you pulled it off." I nodded, promising myself I'd never let it get that close again. Priya got a shout-out in the team meeting, and I felt a surge of pride. The client approved the strategy that week, securing a six-figure contract, and James gave me a bonus, small but a sign of trust. That nightmarish deadline changed me. I learned to manage my time better, setting earlier milestones and asking for help sooner. My apartment became a workspace again, with a new desk organizer and thriving plants, a symbol of my renewed control. 6 months later, I was promoted to content director, leading a team of my own. Priya and I became closer, often collaborating on projects, our late-night effort forging a bond. That impossible deadline had nearly broken me, but it also proved I could rise to the occasion. Reflecting on that ordeal, it's clear that overwhelming deadlines can test your limits, but they also reveal your strength. When someone faces an unmanageable workload, they should break tasks into smaller steps, seek support early, and communicate with their manager about feasibility. She overcame her crisis by enlisting a teammate's help, pushing through exhaustion, and delivering under pressure. If you're staring down a tight deadline, don't isolate yourself. Collaborate, prioritize, and be proactive with your team. The payoff might just be greater than you expect,